My life is now at a point where it has become nothing but an endless cycle of pure emotional trauma. I am convinced that you guys refuse to ever let me feel just a shred, just an ounce, maybe just even a little drop of happiness and comfort and serenity for just once in my life. But no! You guys are nothing but a raging psychopath who find emotional enjoyment and happiness and joy and laughter out of my distress and agony, so I hope you're happy. Film theory, decoding the horror, the Backrooms. Last time this guy Matthew told me to go into the ceiling. Then you know what happened? You know what happened immediately following that? You know where the demon went? Do you know where the demon went? I'm sure I don't have to tell you where the demon went. Matthew! Matthew, did you do the wall thing? What is that? That's not my demon.
Where's the coffee, Matt?
Oh my god, it's a PNG! Horrifying.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that reminds you that all the creepiest pastas came from the 1980s.
Hulk Hogan, he's got Pasta Mania in the Mall of America. I want to try to get a word with him.
Pasta Mania has got all my Hulkamaniacs running wild. And I've eaten so many Hulkaroos and Hulkayoos, I kind of feel sorry.
Fun fact, that restaurant would go on to...
He's off a couple of Hulkaroos and Hulkayoos, dude! He's taking one too many Hulkaroos, bro. He's tweaking off the Hulkaroos.
Hulkaroos and Hulkayoos, I kind of feel sorry.
Fun fact, that restaurant would go on to receive 3 Michelin stars. Well, I hope you carbo-loaded on that Pasta Mania, Hulkamaniacs, because tonight we're no-clipping once more into the Backrooms, the analog horror series right here on YouTube, produced by Kane Pixels. Last time we wandered through these jaundiced hallways, we were looking for a means of escape, a way to survive the endless maze of...
Yeah, and you know what happened? You led me to my doom. That's what happened. Matthew!
Fluorescence and soggy carpets. But today, we're looking for something different. We're looking for lore. Specifically, we want answers.
Lore!
At this point, Kane's series is 3 months old, and in that amount of time, he's given us 10 videos full of creepy mysteries for us to chew on. What are the Backrooms, really? Did humanity create them? Have they just been a parallel dimension all along? And what about the dead man that we find hidden in the middle of the maze, covered in a violent explosion of black? Who is this guy? What is this guy?
Oh yeah, man! Why don't you just resurface my deepest and most darkest of nightmares that I stored in the depths of my memory, locked away to never be accessed ever again? But you decided to just access it, didn't you? Just all willy-nilly, dude. Just accessing things now. We're just accessing.
Covered in a
No permission, nothing. Just access.
violent explosion of black. Who is this guy? What is this guy? And most importantly of all, should we be concerned about that monster roaming the halls? Probably, right? Usually a giant roaring threat is something to be concerned about. So throw on your hazmat suits, friends, and grab your tow line.
What if we were wrong? What if we were mistaken? And he was just lonely. And he finally wanted to make a friend and be happy and have a companion after all of this time. And we're just running away. We're just judging him based on his outward appearance and awkward behavior. And the whole time he just wants a friend. He just wants a pal. He just wants a homie. He just wants to be one of the boys. Just join the gang, you know? We're just...
Today, we're going in deep.
happened to No
let's
Child
talk
Left
about
Behind?
timeline, shall we? Part of what makes the lore of the Backrooms so hard to crack in an initial watch is that it follows the tried and true formula of series like The Walton Files, Mandela Catalog, and FNAF, where the story is just told out of order. The very first upload of the series, Backrooms Found Footage, actually comes last in the timeline currently, September 23rd, 1996. So, through the power of reorganization, let's recap what we know in the order that we know it. Our story begins in 1982 with Async, a corporation conducting scientific research into magnetism and/or electromagnetic field generators under government contract during the Cold War. In our first video of the series, Prototype, a video that, no joke, released as
I understood all of that. I understood every single word that you said. Yeah.
during the Cold War. In our first video of the series, Prototype,
Electromagnetism.
video that, no joke, released as I was writing this paragraph, so forgive me if I miss anything in it. We get our first event of the series. A metallic marble is surrounded by what appears to be electromagnetic field generating tubes. Notice how the shape and general design matches diagrams for similar real-life generators. The system fires up, and just like that, the ball is gone, presumably teleported to some space within space, thereby making the ball a subspace emissary, if you will. I hate myself for that joke, but then again, you don't pass up the opportunity to make
was a
a
joke?
very rare subspace emissary joke. Anyway, by July of 1988, Async,
I must have missed it,
emboldened by
dude,
that
my
initial
fault.
success, has given their distortion field experiments a room.
So we're just creating teleportation devices for no reason. Just because we can. Dude, this is the Jetsons, dude. Not even a lightsaber.
Async, emboldened by that initial success, has given their distortion field experiments a room-sized glow-up called Project KV-31. According to the video The Third Test, the goal of these experiments was to solve, quote, all future storage and housing needs. So it seems like the foundation of our story here is that science discovers an entire other universe of endless space, and our first thought was, hey, it's a good place to store our junk. In total, Async conducts 5 failed tests to try and open a portal to this subspace before the 6th finally proves successful. On October 17th, 1989 at 5:04 p.m. Pacific, with the generator beefed up and something redacted being introduced into something else redacted, the threshold gets cranked up and blasts out a light show that seems to almost shake
Oh
the
yeah, an
facility.
otherworldly interdimensional demon being released into reality to terrify and petrify human beings who dare cross its path?
The threshold gets cranked
Ripped away from its family, orphaned at a young age? Hunger for love and kindness?
up and blasts out a light show
This could be a whole movie. I'm telling you.
introduced into something else redacted. The threshold
Shit
gets
on Hollywood.
cranked up and blasts out a light show that seems to almost shake the facility apart. When the smoke clears, the backrooms themselves have finally appeared on the other end. Async has achieved first contact. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing that happened. That date and time, 5:04 p.m. on October 17th, 1989, also happened to be in reality the moment a magnitude 6.9 lol hit the central coast of California, killing 63 and injuring thousands more. The timing here is clearly not meant to be a coincidence, as a secret unlisted video on Kane Pixel's channel gives us real archival news.
Nice, dude. So us opening portals into dimensions of endless space is causing natural disaster in our reality plane. Who would have thought? Who would have thought, dude? I mean, when a tornado swoops you up in the eyes, a land full of color, and the little people singing happy lollipop kills, dude, is a wicked witch.
From the Loma Prieta quake, including a map highlighting the location of the earthquake's epicenter, the Santa Cruz Mountains. In short, we now know where our Async test facility is hidden. It's here, the epicenter of that devastating quake. And from that point forward, the world appears to be glitched. We see in the video Missing Persons that from October 1989 onward, huge numbers of ordinary people just start to go missing as they no-clip through reality, falling into this newly opened Backrooms metaspace. All the while, Async is slowly exploring this new environment. On February 3rd, 1990, they have their first major discovery, a mysterious dead body coated in what appears to be some type of black mold or aged blood splatter. So far in the series, he remains as an unidentified John Doe, but my suspicion is that this is actually Nicholas Bolton, a missing person that
See, I was saying the same thing. I was literally in my brain. I was like, you know what? That guy, he's got the face, he's got the chin, the jaw. Got the forehead, the hair, the hoodie, right? I was like in my brain, but I was like, you know what? That's the guy from the poster. That's the guy from the thing. The guy. You know the guy. That's the guy. I was thinking it was the guy.
But my suspicion is
I'm
that
taking
this
credit
is
for that one.
actually Nicholas Bolton, a missing person that we see at the top of the upload. Notice a few of the details here. First, he's not wearing a hazmat suit, which clearly tells us that this is not an async employee. Instead, it's someone who no-clipped into the back rooms. Second, compare their physical appearances.
So I
Notice
said
the wider nose, tall forehead, the hoodie, just like we see on Nicholas's missing poster. Around this same time, we also see that Async's government contract appears to have been canceled. In the next video autopsy report, we get quick cuts of various images on a screen. One image here is the top line of a document with the words contract termination. Things aren't looking too great for Async, and they're about to get worse. Just shy of 1 month later, the fourth member of an Async exploration crew is lured away from the rest by mysterious voices.
Nobody
in
reads
the walls
cursive
and ceiling,
anymore.
only to see his team glitch out of space when he tries to rejoin them.
Guys, do you hear this? Hey guys, do you
What is the use of cursive? What was the reason of learning cursive? I have not used my signature, and that's it. I feel like we could have just spent like 3 days learning our signatures. That was it. You can just make something up, dude. Just make it look fancy. Just put some squiggles, a couple of flares in there, maybe a little heart if you're feeling fancy. Kiss it with some lipstick if you really want to get spicy, you know. What's cursive? What is cursive? Why? Why is cursive?
Glitch out of space when he tries to rejoin them.
guys, do you hear this? Hey guys, do you hear this? Hey! Guys? George?
Now lost, he wanders the hallways, stumbling across a bizarre theater with burned remains in the middle of the floor, as well as a smaller crawl space with non-carpeted floors, forest print wallpaper, and the facade of a house with farm equipment out front. As he continues his search, we see what looks to be an exit into an async control room, considering his keycard works on the door and his sounds of relief. But it winds up empty, and his presence triggers a red alert. End of upload. About a week later, on March 5th, Async rigs cameras to motion sensors to capture the action of what's going on in the back rooms while people aren't there. We see Async crew members constructing more walls. Yeah, cause that's what the back rooms needed. More rooms. Humanity, you—
There's one person. There's one human being. What's his name? Kane. Evil. You know what I think of Kane? I think of the WWE guy. Fire, flames, evil, the pits of hell. That explains a lot. That's why his name's Kane. I think his parents knew. I think, you know what? This guy, he's going to be evil, and devious, and demonic. And they were right. It's right on the money. Show Pops and Mama.
dumb. Later that night at 3 a.m., the cameras capture a bizarre dark shape that seems to be moving along the walls or the ceiling. Looks like the Backrooms monster's been watching some YouTube videos. Don't explore the Backrooms at 3 a.m. Asterisk scary. Asterisk you will cry. Asterisk shooketh. Which then brings us all the way
in
back
the
to
hood.
the first ever upload, Kane's original
Gone
found
wrong.
footage video. In 1996, a young cinematographer named Kane no-clips through the ground, falling into the Backrooms, where he encounters some kind of monster that attacks and presumably kills him, sending his camera falling through yet another clip and back out into reality. If you go frame by frame during this moment, you can actually see Kane's whole body here being attacked by the monster as the camera falls. It's a very cool little detail that I noticed. So anyway, that's the story that we've gotten thus far.
Oh yeah, it's cool just watching somebody be pushed to their imminent doom. Just watching somebody, oh yeah, their last moments alive. Yeah, that's a great, wonderful detail. Love that.
Gives plenty of major questions for
that.
us to speculate about. What's the nature of the Backrooms? What is the monster roaming the halls? Why are there voices and farmhouses hidden inside the walls? Well, let's start with the monster. Is it human? Doesn't appear to be. You can probably also eliminate animal and bird. An insect? Nah. Maybe some kind of robot? It looks a little bit like one if you squint.
It's a
but then
pony.
again, I've always got animatronics on the brain, so I'm a little bit biased. I've seen some people suggest that it could be a ghost or an energy monster. No, energy monster, not monster energy. Regardless, we can eliminate both options because it
I
has
see
a
what you did
physical
there.
form. It is able to throw objects
Do you
and
see what
grab Kane.
do you see what he did there? Because energy monster, right? It's like a monster of energy, right? And then you've got monster energy, as in the drink, monster energy drink. You know what I'm saying? Against what he was actually saying of the energy monster, right? It's like a play on words, right? It's like, you get that, right? You got that. I'm not the only one that got that.
Monster? No,
You got
energy
that.
monster, not monster energy. Regardless, we can eliminate both options because
That's
it has
funny.
a physical form. It is able to throw objects and grab
Think about it,
pain.
very
Now,
complex
I think
joke.
The Backrooms has already told us what this thing is. It's a mutated bacteria. Now, I know, bacteria are supposed to be really small, literally microorganisms, whereas the Backrooms monster...
See, just get some fucking Lysol, dude. Just spray them down, bro. Just start wiping. Get your own Lysol and start... You know what I said? Now, is this the point? Oh my god. Is this the point? The point zero... What is it? 0.01? Right? It says, oh yeah, Lysol kills 99.99% of bacteria. Is this the 0.01? This is the one, right? It is so powerful it can withstand Lysol, and it is mutated into a being unlike any other. Dude, this could get dangerous.
But, however, one thing that bacteria love to do is form colonial organisms. Animals that are actually groups of smaller animals.
Colonial organisms! Ain't that what they call the Europeans when they start, sailing?
Bacteria love to do is form colonial organisms. Animals that are actually groups of smaller animals all Voltron together. TLDR, I think that is what we're looking at here. A colonial organism composed of bacteria, possibly one that's been further mutated by exposure to human DNA. Specifically, a mutated strain of Hay bacillus. That may seem specific, but there's a definite reason for it. You see, after Async discovers the mysterious dead body, they conduct an autopsy report on it, confirming that it's been decayed at uneven rates due to having been overtaken by a mutated strain of bacteria.
It's like portions of the body stopped decaying and were sustained. I took a couple samples of some of the material here. It seems to be closer to a mutated strain of simple Hay bacillus. It should be completely benign, but...
Did I watch this? I don't remember this. Unless I watched it and my mind is just a blur. It's just an empty black void of nothingness, hopelessness, emptiness. Or I just never watched this. I have no recollection of this. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a good thing.
Really, I don't know what to make of this.
Well, don't worry, Doc, because I do. You see, Hay bacillus, also known as Bacillus subtilis, is pretty darn common, living in places like the human and cow digestive systems. It's a rod-shaped bacteria that's generally pretty harmless, and science loves these little guys. It's used a lot in experiments because it's very easy to genetically modify. This is one of the all-purpose cultures you'll find in almost any lab using bacteria for research because it's durable, it's manipulable, and it adapts in a very elastic way. And because it's so strong and resilient, it's been used to test out extreme environments like outer space, which I call out because later in the video autopsy report, we see that quick montage of images I mentioned earlier, and it includes close-ups of bacteria cultures along with rocket and space imagery, all seeming to relate to this very idea. Oh yeah, and it's also been used by the military. Between 1950 and 1970, the U.S. Army released
manufacture bioweapons to release upon the public, dude. Turns everybody into zombies.
Oh yeah.
There was some crazy shit back in the day, bro. Dude, it was not messing around.
And it's also been used by the military. Between 1950 and 1970,
the 50s? Oh yeah, they was going bonkers. Bananas.
Army released aerosolized bacteria believed to be harmless over populated areas of the country without telling anyone, all to study what the impact might look like if an enemy ever tried something similar. Another test.
Do you see what I mean? They was just, they didn't give no fucks, dude. They were just doing whatever.
Bacteria believed
they said whatever, dude, fuck it.
Over populated areas of the country without telling anyone, all to study what the impact might look like if an enemy ever tried something similar. Another test was conducted on the New York subway system in 1966, utilizing our little hay bacteria. They kind of just dumped it in through the sewer grates and people dusted it off their shoulders. Here's the thing, Army, when you're on a New York subway, the biggest biological threat isn't the sketchy bacteria powder that you're dumping on us, it's the guy open mouth hacking into my face during rush hour. Anyway, all this about durability and space and genetic mutation makes me think that our monster is a walking, roaring bacteria culture surviving in the backrooms and evolving by coming into contact with the humans that keep no clipping in. And that's not just speculation either. Kane has seemed to confirm parts of this. Recently on his Ko-Fi account, which is basically like his Patreon, he dropped this picture of the monster explicitly labeled as bacteria. Something tells me you're gonna need some more than antibiotics to kill that bacterial infection. Now that is what I call biological warfare. So that's a little bit about the monster.
Tylenol, dude. Tylenol will kill you right up.
Bacterial infection. Now that is what I call biological warfare.
Some aspirin, you
that's a
good to
little bit
go.
about the monster, but then what are the backrooms themselves? What exactly are they, and what's
Ibuprofen?
their nature telling us about the world this story is set in? Well, when talking about internet urban legends to base a video series around, the backrooms is still pretty new. The original meme dates to 2019. The lore and branching ARGs all come up later, and these videos have all gone up in the last few months. This is a brand new evolving concept, but the bigger idea that it's grounded in, that the world we know has secret hollow spaces behind the scenes that we aren't supposed to enter, that idea goes way back into ancient mythology and folklore, probably as old as the human psyche itself.
So the astrology people were right. So what does that mean, dude? I'm a Leo. What does that mean? Am I gonna get lost in the unknown? What is it? What does that mean?
Folklore, probably
the planets are aligning. What is?
Probably as old.
How do they have to be? What?
As the human psyche itself. The ancient Greeks believed that spirits of the dead and plenty of other things inhabited an
Does the Big Dipper serve a purpose in any of this?
Entire underworld of caves and caverns. The 19th century French occultist Joseph Alexandre Saint-Yves Marquis de Lévendre, how's that for a name?
I got this! I got this!
French occultist Joseph Alexandre Saint-Yves Marquis de Lévendre.
Joseph Alexandre Saint-Yves Marquis de Lévendre. Let's fucking God nailed it!
That for a name.
Nailed
what
it!
He claimed was evidence of an inner world inside the Earth itself called Agartha, that some people still think is a thing today. Even the idea of just ordinary maintenance tunnels and access shafts all over the world being connected to a more sinister purpose.
That's where King Kong's from, right? The Hollow?
Just ordinary maintenance tunnels and access shafts all over the world being connected to a more sinister purpose was part of the background mythology in Jordan Peele's horror movie Us. It's a very familiar looking wallpaper, but
that movie, by the way, this movie is absolutely terrifying, okay? This dude, Jordan Peele,
it's a very
maniac.
Familiar looking wallpaper. But of them all, the Backrooms is probably most similar to the work of mid-20th century sci-fi horror creator Richard Matheson. He wrote the stories that inspired— Imagine
you are trying to get slaughtered by yourself. Imagine. I'd lose. I would lose to myself. I am that much of a winner. I am such a big winner that if I was in one-on-one combat against myself, I would lose to myself because I'm such a winner. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'm so powerful, like, I couldn't stop myself.
The work of mid-20th century sci-fi horror creator Richard Matheson. He wrote the stories that inspired I Am Legend and The Incredible Shrinking Man, as well as many, many episodes of Star Trek and Twilight Zone, including the infamous Gremlin on the Wing episode with William Shatner.
What is
perhaps
that?
most importantly for us today, but perhaps
dude,
most important
was Edward and Jacob in this?
For us today, he wrote Little Girl Lost, an episode of The Twilight Zone that was so iconic it would be parodied by The Simpsons years later in one of their Halloween episodes using really expensive for the time 3D animation.
It's like, did anyone see the movie Tron?
No.
No.
Ash. I mean, no.
In both versions of the story,
I've never seen Tron either.
Finds themselves passing through an imperceptible rift between our dimension and another, unable to find their way out, getting lost in a vast, confusing, repetitive maze. Sound familiar? Really similar to the idea of falling into the Backrooms. In fact, the only real difference between all these stories is the terminology involved. For the original Backrooms lore, they say that you've no-clipped through reality, a phrase borrowed from video games to describe when solid graphical elements pass through one another in a way that the program program doesn't intend, resulting in a player character ending up in an empty space outside of the quote-unquote level box. This sometimes allows you to skip around and cheat, especially when you're talking about older games when developers were
So you're just stuck. Lost. In between dimensions. No hope. That's it. It's over for you. Nice!
figuring out how to make
See, I knew it.
3D work. Now, Kane
I knew
Pixels' Backrooms has yet to make any explicit reference to this. We have never heard the phrase no clipping, and we have not once seen any references to
like
video
high
games
school.
or digital worlds. In fact, Kane's series has taken the general concept of the Backrooms and layering on a science fiction rationale to ground it in a very believable reality. And yet, the video game stuff, I think this is exactly what he's building towards. And the key is right here at 5:45 in the very first upload. Check out the rope. It's sitting there, just sitting right there. At first, I thought nothing of it. It's just garbage on the ground, whatever. But then, 1 month later...
No, there's a purpose for that. I explained it. I'm not explaining it again. I don't think I need to explain it again. There's a purpose for that. If you get lost in the back rooms and you... I'm not going to explain it again, dude. That rope has a purpose.
At first, I thought nothing of it. It's just garbage on the ground, whatever. But then, 1 month later, we get this at the midpoint of informational video. As the lost async employee explores the smaller crawl space with forced wallpaper, he stumbles across the facade of a farmhouse, and near it is this, an axe leaning against the wall. Again, a singular object just sitting there alone, waiting to get picked up. So we're wandering through a maze made of geometric shapes and repeating textures, stalked by a monster, and random useful objects are just sitting there out in the open on the ground, waiting to get picked up. No real context around them. It looks a lot to me like a video game, the kind of video game you might no-clip.
So this is one of those sick jokes. It's one of those sick jokes, dude, where you're just forced against your will to compete for the happiness of somebody else and the entertainment, dude. You are stuck. You are stuck. The creators, it's over for you, dude. They control you now. You have no choice.
To me, this whole area with the tree texture wallpaper,
it's kind of fucked. Because then you get controlled by somebody who sucks. Oh my god, you get controlled by a bot, dude. Woo! Some like snotty 12-year-old. There's no idea what the hell he's doing, dude. He's just pressing buttons, bro. Oh, hell no. Oh no.
Facade of a house on the wall, the random old-time farm tools that just look slightly geometrically off. This looks like the exact way older 3D video games, I'm talking PlayStation 1 era, would use polygons and flat textures to try and render outdoors and nature settings within level box designs. They would paint the walls to look like trees. They would paper the sky blue with textures. They would stick a house facade onto a giant rectangle to surround the door that they want you to go into. Check out the wheelbarrows, specifically the shadows of the wheelbarrows. Notice how they don't really move or shift position as the bright flashlight beam moves? While this certainly could be just 3D animation issues, it also reflects how many early video games couldn't or didn't use dynamic shaders. Shadows, if they existed at all, tended to be fixed and painted onto textures.
This is a big-ass video game!
But also gave objects a bit of a flat look. There's even a point where our async employee leans in close to the wheelbarrows where it looks like the wallpaper pixel smears into just color lines. Again, like you'd see in a video game with texture mapping on the fritz. So if the Backrooms is indeed the space you go to when you no-clip through the ground, like we see Kane do.
So we are in a simulation, dude. We are in a simulation, bro. The great beyond. That's nice. That is nice. Dude, whoever's controlling me, bro, please pass it to Big Bro. Oh my god, please, because you are doing a horrible job, dude. Like, my life is a mess, bro. Oh my, can you please pass it to somebody who's competent? Dear God, dude, please.
In episode 1, then we're looking at evidence that reality itself on our side of the threshold is...
Type in a cheat code. I don't care. Please type in a cheat code. Do one of those infinite money glitches. Do one of those. Help me out, dude. Okay, do cheat code. Nobody cares about integrity anymore. It's 2022.
Then we're looking at evidence that reality itself on our side of the threshold is also a simulation. It could very well be that this whole series is just a modern take on the Matrix, a simulation that no one realizes they're in. And when Async opens the door to the Backrooms, they're finding a storage area for the extra unused assets, the procedurally generated worlds, the levels that just haven't quite made the cut yet. As Kane explores the various levels in the series' first first upload, we see office supplies and warehouses, but also residential-style railings and exteriors of buildings that are clearly indoors. Hardwood floors, repeating filing cabinets. It's a mishmash of random assets, like when you're exploring a library of 3D assets from something like a game engine. All of reality being a simulation would also explain the voices that lure the async employee away in informational video. Listen to the sound. These aren't voices that are explicitly trying to lure him away. It's not sinister in any way. It's just general white noise of a busy office or a party, almost as though reality is breaking through. Well, he's wandering around in a city office or a party, almost as though reality is breaking through. Well, he's at
a party, dude. He's at a party, sitting in his bedroom, playing Sonic on the Sega.
Informational video. Listen.
That is so funny.
To the sound. These aren't—
There's like people getting blasted outside, dude. There's Pop Smoke's bumping on the speakers. People railing lines off the bathroom counter, bro. It's all out frat party, dude. Blue Mountain State style.
Voices.
He's in there playing Mario Party
that are
by himself. Against the CPU.
Trying to lure him away. It's not sinister in any way. It's just general white noise of a busy office or a party, almost as though reality is breaking through. Well, he's wandering around in a simulation on a computer. An office party is going on, one layer of reality up. But outside of the wall textures and random objects just sitting out in the open like a video game, there's one piece of evidence that really clinches it for me. Something that gets me to raise my eyebrow. Notice the date on this upload. February 29th, 1990. Here's the mind blow. That can't be correct. There is no such day in existence. February has 28 days, and 1990 was not a leap year.
Hey,
oh my god! It wasn't a leap year!
28 days, and 1990 was not a leap year.
Hey.
Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? That means that there also wasn't a leap day. Think about that. Try that one on for size.
February has 28 days, and 1990 was not a leap year.
Hey.
A leap year? Forget about leap day.
Sussy baka.
To me, this wasn't a mistake. Kane already picked First Contact to happen on a day when a major real-world earthquake occurred. The dates in this series matter. It tells me that we're existing in a reality different from our own. One where a February 29th, 1990 can exist. A simulated reality. And the Backrooms is the boundary between worlds, where the separation becomes just a little bit thinner, allowing things like office voices and, who knows, maybe even a virulent bacteria into the simulation. Am I right? Will async be able to break through the boundary? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But hey, that's
this
just
doesn't end well,
theory.
does it?
A film theory.
This doesn't end well, does it? Breaking the fabric of reality, stuck in a portal between dimensions, rippling the fabric of space-time continuum. I don't see how this has a positive ending to it at all, dude. Nobody ever wants to listen to me for anything, so don't say I didn't warn you.